What's up, Algebra 2A? Here we have your video for 4.3 Day 2, and I'm just going to go through some of these problems from your Day 1 worksheet, just so we know what's going on. Okay? So the easier problems up here on the top. First one here is look to take out something that's common to both. Alright, these both have w's. This one has 1w, this has a w squared, and they both have factors of 4. So you could take a 4w out of both, and then it's kind of like dividing. Think about what 4w squared divided by 4w is. It'd just be w. 4 divided by 4 is 1. W squared divided by w is going to be w. And 8w divided by 4w is going to be 2. Okay, you can always check yourself because it should multiply back and equal what you started with. Okay, number 2 is very similar. Then we have some what I call easy factoring. When there's no multiplier in front of x squared, when you have a trinomial, some easy factoring. You might have some other strategies. I used the magic X. Okay. If you have other strategies, you can go ahead and use that. What multiplies to the back number? What multiplies to negative 5? It adds to 4. Multiplies to negative 5 and adds to 4, positive 4. We're going to have 5, positive 5, and negative 1. Multiplies to negative 5, adds to positive 4. So my factors are x minus 1 and x plus 5. Now if you had those flip-flopped, and you had x plus 5 and x minus 1, it's the exact same thing. No sweat. Okay, let's slide on over here to this one. Multiplies to 9 and adds to 10. Sometimes these are tricky when like the add to is bigger than the multiply. Okay, well, you're like 9. Man, that's 3 times 3, but 3 plus 3 is 6, not 10. Okay, don't forget about the 1 times 9. Alright, 1 times 9 is 9, and 1 plus 9 is 10. X plus 1 and x plus 9. Okay, 7 and 8 are there to remind you to pay attention to see if you can divide everything, all 3 parts, by the same number. Because if you can, it can often save you a lot of stress. Okay, so let's notice here that these are all divisible by 2. If you divide them all by 2, divide, not plus, divide by 2, divide by 2. That's just x squared plus 2x minus 15. And now we're back to one of our easier ones that we just got done with. What multiplies to negative 15 and adds to 2? We got 5 and negative 3. X plus 5 and x minus 3. 5 times negative 3, negative 15. 5 plus negative 3, positive 2. Okay, 8 should be the same deal, but dividing everything out by 3's. Okay, 9 and 10, the beginning of the hard stuff. Okay, what happens when there's a number in front, okay, and you can't divide it all out by 2? Then it gets a little trickier. Alright, then you got to do front times back, and that is our new number that we multiply to. So we're going to multiply to 6 and add to 7. Really, you're doing this on the other ones too. It's just that the front number is 1. So it's like the same thing, like 1 times 9. You got to multiply to 9. Okay? So we do 2 times 3. We're multiplying to 6 and adding to 7. So what is going to multiply to 6 and add to 7? That's like one of those problems up here where it's tricky because the add two numbers bigger and you're not thinking about it. But we could go with 6 times 1 is going to be 6, and then add to 7. Now, because we did 2 times 3, we now have to divide those pieces by 2. Divide by 2. Okay. If it works out nice, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Beautiful. That's going to be x plus 3. If it doesn't work out nice, 1 over 2. Okay, doesn't work out perfect. Reduce it as far as you can. That is, as far as you can take it. You can't reduce it anymore. Okay, the bottom number, 2, goes in front of x. And then the top number is what's in the back, plus 1. Ta-da! You can multiply this back out, FOIL it back out to double check, and it should work. Let's do another one of those. 6x squared minus 5x minus 4. Okay, multiplying to a negative. What multiplies to negative 24 and adds to negative 5? We're going to go with a negative 8 and a positive 3. A negative 8 and a positive 3. Okay. Now, we multiplied by 6. So now we got to come back and divide by 6. Okay, this was a good one, because neither one of these work out perfect, but both of them have to be reduced. 3 over 6 is going to reduce to a half. Negative 8 6 is going to reduce to negative 4/3. Okay. The bottom number will go in front of x in your parentheses, so 3x. And then the top number is minus 4. Okay, bottom number is 2, so we have 2x. The top number is a positive 1, so plus 1. That was a good one. Okay, just some tricks there. All right, it beats guessing and checking for forever. All right. And we have factor by grouping. Let's just take the first one. Okay, when there's 4 things, your first instinct should be to be factor by grouping. Put them into 2 groups. Actually, let's do the bottom one just because it's got a minus, and those can be tricky. Okay, so you might have to do some rearranging sometimes, sometimes not. We're going to put our parentheses around these 2, and then you're going to put your parentheses around the second 2, and you're going to include that negative sign. Okay? If it's a plus, it's a positive. It doesn't really matter, because if you put the parenthesis like in front of it, then it's a positive anyways. But if it's a minus sign here, you definitely have to include it, because that's going to make this negative, and we need that. Okay? So what can we divide everything here by? Well, they both have a c, and 48 and 36 are both divisible by 12. So we're going to take a 12c out in front. 48 divided by 12 is 4. We took the c out. There's the g. 36 divided by 12 is 3. The c's out. There's f. Okay, if I multiply this back, I'd have 48cg, 36cf. It's the same thing. Okay, what do we have in common here? 4 and 3, so no numbers can be in common. D, yep, they both have a D there. G and F, nope. So just the letter D, and we have a negative. Both of them have a negative. So we're going to pull out minus D. And that's going to leave us with 4G on the inside plus 3F. Now, because I took out the negative, that's going to make it positive here. And I took the negative out, so that's going to make that positive there. Also, a big hint is once you get one of them done, that gives you a big hint as to what the second one should look like. And it can kind of help you figure out what you're supposed to take out of the second one, because you need these to match. Okay? Now that we have these matching, the front one and the front one, those go together. 12c minus d. And then these two that match, we only write it down once. Ta-da! There you go. And then our special cases here, our special cases, differences of perfect squares. Okay, hopefully you recognize these. X squared and 36. Okay, that's going to be x and 6 that are being squared. So we have x plus 6 and x minus 6. If you want to think about it the old way, from the front side, that's like having a 0x there. So you have what multiplies to negative 36 and adds to 0. Because there's no regular x's, so you have like a 0x there. That'd be positive 6 and negative 6 would multiply to a negative 36 and then add to 0. So that's kind of what you're doing, but it's just a shortcut. If you have a perfect square here, minus a perfect square there. Okay, sometimes it's not so obvious. About 18, you can take out the 5. They both have a 5 in common. Always look to see if you can take something out in common to everything. It has to work for all of them. Okay, so take the 5 out. Now it's y squared minus 9. And hey, look at that. Y squared minus 9 is a difference of perfect squares. Y and 3. So we have y minus 3, y plus 3. All right, hopefully that wasn't too bad for you. The second day worksheet here should be about the same. Maybe cranking it up just a little bit in difficulty. All right, take your time on that and get it done. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.